Hi, welcome back to Pleased to Dwell. We're on day 5 in this anticipation of Christmas, and we're still in the part of the book that works its way through the Old Testament, and we've been thinking about the great offices of the Messiah. Okay, so who were the people who were anointed for their role in the Old Testament? Well, prophets were sometimes anointed, and the Messiah is going to be a great prophet who represents God to us. Also, priests were anointed. And the Messiah is going to be the ultimate priest who represents us to God and deals with our sin problem. And then the third office is king. Kings were anointed, the leaders of the people, and we need a great king to come. And that's what Christmas perhaps is more famous for, although really we need all three, so we shouldn't be competing between the offices. Okay, so let's jump into this. You know, there's some references or anticipations of the coming king that are perhaps less familiar. For example, the book of Micah 5 verse 2 gets quoted at Christmas when Herod is wondering, where is this child to be born? And they read through Micah and they discover it's going to be Bethlehem. But just before that, at the end of Micah chapter 2, here's a more obscure one that I want you to see. This is God anticipating the regathering of his people. He says that at the start. I will indeed gather all of you, Jacob. I will collect the remnant of Israel. So that's God's people. I will bring them together like sheep in a pen, like a flock in the middle of its pasture. It will be noisy with people. One who breaks open the way will advance before them. They will break out, pass through the city gate and leave by it. Now look at these last two lines. Their king will pass through before them. Their king. So here's an anticipation of the king of the people of Israel. Okay, and he is going to be the one that kind of breaks out as the people are regathered, they're penned in, and then he leads them out. Their king will pass through before them. Remember that Old Testament often is parallel lines, you've got parallelisms working, and we had one, by the way, up here, a reference to Jacob and a reference to Israel, 2 lines, it's the same focus. So back to this point down at the bottom, their king will pass through before them. Who's their leader? The Lord, all caps, as their leader, Yahweh himself. I think this is anticipating Yahweh as a human leading the people in the future as their king. Anyway, that's an interesting little combination there of anticipating the king, the Messiah, and seeing his divine identity. Anyway, here's a more familiar passage. Look at Isaiah 9, in the great Emmanuel section that was communicated by Isaiah to King Ahaz. You can read the background in the book if you want to. For a child will be born for us, a son will be given to us, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, or Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. The dominion will be vast, and its prosperity will never end. He will reign on the throne of David. Familiar verses. Let's see just a quick quote from the book about this. The announcement of the greatest birth, the new leader that would be born. It will be a male child whose government will be forever and whose titles build on each other to thrill the reader. Wonderful Counselor, whose wisdom will accomplish the greatest of challenges. Mighty God. Again, we discover that the messianic ruler will be divine. Everlasting Father, the term typically used of the Lord, reinforces the identity of this ruler. And Prince of Peace. His rule will bring all the blessings of peace. That's who we're anticipating. That's who this king is. A Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. We're on day 5. We're getting closer to the next section. Remember, this book is broken into sections of 6 chapters. So we've just got one more to go in the Old Testament, and then we get to the New Testament. We get to the arrival of this coming king. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.